why I chose the book. I chose the book True American because it seemed the most interesting out of all the other books that were shown, and I want to learn a little bit more about the backstory of 9/11 and how Muslim immigrants were treated afterwards. What I anticipate the book will be about is two different perspectives between an American and a Muslim and their conflicts between each other after 9/11. And what I'm looking forward to most while reading the book and the meetings is getting to share our favorites about the book and maybe learning a little bit more history and background of 9/11 besides just the Twin Towers collapse. And it's like different perspectives, like a Muslim perspective, like we never got to hear of that before. That's what I'm excited for.
I chose the book The True American, Murder and Mercy in Texas because I believe it was the most interesting out of every book the AP teachers showed us. And I like American history. What I anticipate the book will be about is a guy from Middle Eastern descent that travels to America that wants a better life. And after the 9/11 attacks, he will be oppressed and probably try to be killed because no one would like anyone that's Muslim descent. What do I look most forward while reading the book or about the meetings is our group's different opinions about the book because everyone will have a different opinion about this book, either if it's good or bad, and I hope it's a good book.
I chose the book The True American, Murder, Mercy in Texas because I thought it was the most interesting book that was shown to us at the meeting. I also chose this book because I enjoy American history a lot. I anticipate the book will be about how Muslims were treated post 9/11. I also think it will show the perspective of Muslims during this time. In the book, I think that all Muslims will be looked at badly after 9/11. I'm looking forward to, while reading this book, to see what happens and how Muslims were treated during this time period. And I'm also looking forward to the opinions of my other group members during the group meetings.
So why did Mark Stroman want to know where Rice was from before he shot him? I think because he wanted to get revenge from all the Middle Easterns that destroyed all the humans in 9/11, so he was just mad at all the Muslims.
And do I believe that Mark Stroman should be sentenced to death for the gas station shootings? Yes, because it's in no way there's no way for it to be right for someone to kill someone and get away with it, even though he did it after 9/11 to get revenge on the non-Americans and the Muslims.
If Rice was testified, would he talk bad about Mark Stroman? I believe that he would talk bad about Mark Stroman. He would be afraid, but he would still do it because of what he did to him and how he ruined his life.
What was Mark Stroman's motive to shoot Rice? He just wanted to get revenge, and also he stated that he had negative peers from his childhood, so he grew up with bad people, so he just was always mean, and he got married early, he got kids early, he robbed and just did bad stuff, he did drugs, so he was not a good guy.
What do you think will happen if Ross is called to testify against Mark Stroman? I think he'll just give his overall opinion on what happened and probably try to get him in trouble and go to jail.
Why didn't Rice ever use his cadet military skills when he was threatened? I feel that he didn't use his military skills because he was in shock and didn't process the situation fully when it was happening.
And do you think that Mark Stroman will be sentenced to death even if the U.S. is against Middle Eastern people? Yes, because killing somebody of any race, religion, or sex is wrong, and you should just die.
Why did Rice go to the U.S.? He went to the U.S. to get a better life and prepare his new life with his wife, soon-to-be wife.
So far, what my overall opinion on this book is that I liked how there's a different perspective of like the Muslims that were mistreated, like Raz, if that's how you pronounce his name. He got shot by Mark Stroman, and like we got to experience his shock, how he got shot in the head and still survived, and then we got to experience like his income failure and how he has to pay for his bills and how his family reacted. And he did it after 9/11 to get revenge on the non-Americans and the Muslims.
Action.
So why do I think Tina would never visit Mark in jail? I think the main reason is slowly over the years, Mark was treating her poorly, and with all of his crimes, I think she just didn't want to be part of her life anymore, and just doesn't want to visit her in jail.
What do I think about the program asking Roz for $8,000 back after he got the price for his medical bills down to $42,000 from his $50,000 grant? I think that was kind of selfish of them to do that. I mean, Roz is already in so much debt already from working at Olive Garden. Like, you got no money. So just like, he's like an Arabian that's coming to the Americas for a dream, and I think you should just give him that money to help prosper and help that dream.
My first question is, how did Rice's job at IT change his life? In my opinion, it changed his life because he was finally making good money. He could finally afford his own apartment and his own car. He was finally able to make money to do stuff in his life.
Why is Rice depressed? I think he's depressed because he was in debt. He's in debt, and he can't really see out of his eye because of the gun to his head, and he just has a crappy job at Olive Garden.
And do I feel bad for Strowman while he writes to his family and no one responds? Not really, dude. You killed someone. Actually, I kind of do, because slowly, because he's in jail for like 10 years. I don't know why he hasn't died yet, but as he's in jail, he begins to understand what he did and how it was wrong, and that he wants to he prays to God for his family to see him again. So I kind of feel bad for him.
My second question is, how did jail change Mark's perspective of life? Jail changed Mark's perspective of life because he realized what he did and what other people have done to be in jail. He saw that there was worse people than him in jail.
Do you think Mark regretted his decision on killing the Middle Eastern? In my opinion, yes, because he just slowly acted that out right after 9/11. He just wanted to get revenge, and that's what his main mind was, is just to get revenge. But overall, back in 2011, he regrets his decision because he just wants to be with Tina and just have a lovely life with his family. But soon he'll get a job at his dream job at IT, and will get all of his money back.
All right. And then lastly, why do I think it's taking so long for Strowman to be killed? I think that Strowman should exactly what's happening in this book. I think they want him to kind of suffer in jail and understand that there's other people in this world that do bad things, and maybe if he's surrounded by those people, he'll realize that what he did was wrong and learn from his mistake.
And my third question is, why is it taking so long for Mark Strowman to get put to death? I think it is taking so long for him to get put to death because the jail is making him suffer and think about what he did.
So why does Rice want to help Amber? He wants to help Amber because he doesn't want Amber to end up like her father in the wrong path. So he helps him. He's gonna help her by getting money and trying to get her a job. So he's a good man.
And what do I think about the whole emphasis on freeing Strowman and spreading hope to fight hate? I thought it was an overall good idea to spread the word on, although people do wrong things, they can learn from the mistakes. And I think the whole emphasis on that campaign was just to spread the word on just that there is mercy in people and hope, and that people can be forgiven no matter what they do.
Why did Rise's parents not visit him earlier? They didn't visit him earlier because they were nervous about going to America, in my opinion. I also felt that it'd probably be difficult for them to get to America at the time.
Why would Rice want Mark alive? He would want Mark alive because of his religion, and he thinks everyone should get forgiveness, and so he just wants him alive. And he also is his best friend now, even though he got shot in the face by him. He calls him bro.
What do you think Roz's freedom represents in the story? I think that Roz's freedom is mainly the idea of mercy, how his friend Zale helped him bring him on his feet. Without him, he wouldn't be where he is today with when he had the internship at the Texas place. Now he's in IT and making really good money. So I believe that since his friend had the mercy to bring him on his feet, that he believes that since he has his freedom now because he had to go through those classes and stuff, that now that he was given mercy, he can give mercy to Mark Strowman. So that's what I think is revolved around the story.
My second question is, how did the title Murder and Mercy relate to the topic of spreading hope and stopping hate? The title shows how even though Rise was shot by Mark Strowman, he still showed mercy to him and tried to free him.
Then lastly, do I think Strowman should have been killed? I think he should not have been killed because the whole emphasis on this whole campaign was that if Mark Strowman lived, that it would have shown that there was hope in this world and that people could show mercy. But since they killed him, there's really no point to the campaign because he still died. So I think he should have still lived because it would have brought forward a better point that people could be forgiven. And yeah, that's it.
My third question is, how did Rise forgive Mark Strowman and want to keep him alive after what he did to him? Rise forgave Mark Strowman even after what he did to him because of his religion and Muslim backgrounds that showed how everyone deserves forgiveness.
So how does Erica get the job? Oh, how does the job at McDonald's help Erica? She gets $40,000 a year, which is very nice, so she can afford a lot of stuff for her, and yeah, good. So my overall reaction to the book, my reaction to The True American is it was a very good book. I highly recommend it. It's a very good book about American history. Specific notes about your favorite or least favorite parts. My favorite part is when Rice's road to recovery. After he got shot, he was at thousands of dollars in debt, but then he slowly climbed up with his friends, and then he got a high-paying job, which helped him at the end, and it even actually helped Mark Strowman try to get out of death sentence, which I thought that was a pretty cool part. My least favorite part, though, is when Mark Strowman actually died, because at the beginning of the book, you feel like you wanted him to die because he shot all these Muslims, but at the end, you feel sympathy for him because of all of his past, because it talked about his past and his family leaving him, so you kind of actually feel sympathy for him, and I was sad when he died. My anticipations prior to reading was correct. I think this book was going to be good, and it was very good. The most difficult part of reading the book was definitely at the beginning of when they were switching back and forth between Rice's and Mark's point of view. It kind of got confusing at first, but then in the end, it was a very good part of the book.
My reaction to the book is that the book was really good and interesting. My favorite part was when Rise was spreading the forgiveness of Mark Strowman. My least favorite part was when Mark Strowman died because I felt he had a chance of living, and then random he just died. I was right about my anticipation of the book being interesting because I liked it a lot, and it was very interesting. The most difficult part of reading the book was when Rise talked about his Muslim background because it was very confusing.
My overall reaction to the book was that it was as I expected. I thought it was actually very good. I liked how we had the perspective of Raz, the Muslim, on how he was treated after 9/11. I like how it was really into detail, like how he went into debt, how he recovered from his debt, and then how that whole aspect of mercy continued on to when he tried to save Mark Strowman, even though he killed him. And specific notes are favorites. My favorite part of the book probably was when Raz had forgave Mark Strowman and Mark Strowman had called him his brother, and he realized that the man that shot him had called him his brother, and he loved him. That was a pretty good moment. I was correct about my anticipation of the book. I thought it was going to be about his perspective of Muslim and how he coped with being shot. And the most difficult part of reading this book was definitely when Mark Strowman had died. That was kind of sad, rip the jet. I also did not understand some of the backstory of Raz's Muslim past and how he lived with his family. When he talked about that, when he was with his mom, I was kind of confused. That's pretty much it. Overall, True American, good book, recommend it. If you're incoming a junior, read this book.